and you just put the sensor up on the screen and use it that way. But I mean, all that other software is using is the motion capture capabilities of your webcam to do the same thing. And to be honest, you always have your webcam up somewhere in front of you, so it's already there. You don't have to clip it into anything, or, you know. Maybe it's something I should look at, but I've got other things I need to buy first. Whether or not I can buy them, like I said, now my power bill's gone up, but like I also said, hopefully I've found out the reason why. And I think it had to do with me hot water cylinder. It was supposed to be fixed, the issue was supposed to be fixed, and it hasn't been, and I'm still waiting for the plumber to turn up, but yeah. I recently just got this month's bill, and after paying last month's and that, I'm close to $400, owing them $400 at the moment, which is ridiculous when it used to be less. And my power bill used to be about $100, even less than that actually, a month, and now it's jumped up to almost $200 a month, which I had when I first moved into this place. The hot water cylinder broke. I didn't realise that for 2 weeks, and then I had a horrific bill. But this is a bit different because you got the pipe, the overflow pipe on our roof, so when the hot water boils too much it flows out, but it's actually not supposed to. It's there more to use as gravity to push the water down so it can come out of the pipe easier. I found out, the plumber was telling me. A piece of cardboard, not tin foil. Got a bit of aluminium foil, whatever it's called these days, tin foil. Oh, it's 50 k's along here. Why is it 50 k's on the main road? On a highway? Well, that seems a bit weird. Yeah. So yeah, it's not actually supposed to be leaking out any hot water out of there. It's purely for gravity reasons, so air can get down there, push down on the water, so it comes out of the pipes. Obviously helps with the pressure, but it's been leaking, and it was leaking really bad for a long time, and it's been like that for a very long time as well, but it's a slow leak. It's been slowly leaking out of it, but over the last few months it was really bad, and the thing was I didn't pick up on it purely because I had a plumber see it, because I've had some other issues here because we've got crappy pipes around this place. That's how old it is. It's so old, like I'm one of 5 flats here, independent flats, and but if someone uses a washing machine or turns the cold water on in their home, in their flat, and I'm in the shower, it's same effect as like when you have someone do that in your own home. You lose the cold water pressure, and it goes all hot. That's what I get here. That's how bad this place is with that. But yeah, it was supposed to be fixed, and no, it didn't. It wasn't fixed. And then I noticed it when the plumber came back round to fix something else somewhere else. He noticed it and said, "Oh, we'll fix that." And I've just gone back out, and that was last week or the week before, and I went out, and it's still leaking. Not as bad, but it's still leaking. So hopefully I've rung my landlord up, and we can get that sorted. Yeah, basically, it's the plumber told me about it. He says they're going to actually spend quite a bit of money to set it right, but they're all running off the one main pipe. There's not individual pipes supplying each individual flat. Now I'm actually on my own back here, separate flat, or shack really. But the other for basically a house that's been divided up. into 4 flats. So I can get why they're like that, but apparently the other ones don't have the issue, just me. So yeah, so that's it at the moment. So hopefully it can be fixed, and then my power bill will come down back to normal. Well, actually even less, because like I said, it's been doing that ever since I've pretty much moved in here, or for a long time, and the power bill wasn't that horrific, but yeah, it's quite bad now. And I pay weekly. I'm on a thing called Smooth Pay, so what they do is they calculate how much you use a year and then divide it up into a weekly payment, and you just pay that each week. And I still get my discount bonus for it and everything. And at the end of the year they recalculate, so if you owe them money or you use more, they'll recalculate it for that year and blah blah blah, which is what I thought it was. But I was on the same amount for about 4 years, 3 or 4 years, the exact same amount, never changed. And then this year, in the last 3 months, it's gone up twice. Because of the amount. I think I've got my lights on, haven't I? Which is a real shame, because I'm trying to save up for things, and that makes it difficult. It's eaten quite a lot out of my savings, or what I can save, which is not much anyway, being on disability. Technically, I'm not supposed to be able to save on disability. We come under the same rules on that as people who are unemployed. Now, the unemployment benefit, you're supposed to get enough to make survive, and then expected to go out and try and find a job, but they actually don't really get enough to do both. But it's better than not getting anything, let's be honest. But I find it a bit harsh for people with disabilities who don't have the opportunity to go out and be able to get a job through no fault of their own. I mean, let's be honest, most people with disabilities got disabilities not because they chose to have one. It's forced upon them. So, being treated the same, I don't know. I mean, you can look at it and say, hey, you know, be thankful you're getting something. You could just as easily get nothing. But maybe I'm just a soft heart in that one. I just think everyone should have the benefit of at least having somewhere to live. I don't like the fact that people are homeless. I think at this day and age, and with the ability we've got as human beings, I don't think there's any reason why anyone should be homeless. You know, and it's very nice to go past the homeless guy and say, well, get a job, but the fact of the matter is there's not enough jobs for everyone. If there's not enough jobs for everyone, you're going to end up with people that are homeless. And just my view, I could be wrong. I don't want to get too into it because it turns political, but I just think you vote in a government, and if they can't provide the jobs and everything you require them to give yourself a decent living that other people are able to do, have the opportunity to do, why are you being punished for the government not doing their job properly? I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just me. I just don't like seeing people on the street homeless. I agree with giving them like the minimum amount to survive, to be able to go out and try and find a job and everything else, or improve their life with a bit of training and everything else. I'm all for that. Really am. And I don't mind working and paying my taxes for people to do that, because if they end up doing that, then they're contributing to society as well by paying taxes. And it all depends how your tax system is set up and used in countries. But I know, like with me and Aussie, we were under the old British sort of way of doing things, and America's a bit different. Like here, our hospital trips are free. You go to the hospital, you get an operation, it's free. You go out and get your x-rays, it's free. Everything from the hospital is paid by the government. It's all free. Yes, indeed. And the funny thing is, our constitution actually says that they can't do that, but they still do it. So, and I think a lot of probably constitutions say you can't do it, but people still do it. Because the other thing I think in this country is the problem, if you've got an issue and you want to take it to someone that is set up to deal with it, there's just the attitude of you're just being a whinger. They don't really take you seriously, you know, and you just feel alone and don't know where to go. And I think that's well, a small contributing factor to our high suicide rate. I also have my theories on that as well, and I think my theories are a lot better than a lot of other people's. Those experts who've read a book, answered a question, and got a degree on things they've never experienced, like living with a disability. But yet they're the ones that get to say how you have to live your life. So, yeah, I just think people with disabilities should have the opportunity to live a little easier, and an opportunity to save, because they've lost that opportunity through no fault of their own. I mean, of course there's people out there with disability because they did something stupid. But then again, we all do something stupid. But most of us get the opportunity to not have too much of a punishment for it by losing a leg or something. Yeah. Yeah, armchair experts won't. I'm just sick of them. I mean, with what I've got, there's been one psychiatrist that made huge inroads to helping people with this disability, and still nowhere near foolproof, because it really is a hard thing to live with and a hard thing to deal with and a hard thing to help with. But but the thing is what made that psychiatrist so good at doing her job and being one of the well-known as by other psychiatrists for an actual expert in her field of what she studied, is because she had what I have. And that was the reason why she became a psychiatrist, to help people not go through what she went through with it. And you just feel like people think it's a coincidence that her expertise or her experience has nothing to do with her, how she became an expert on the subject. So they just don't listen to people like us, and they should listen, because I know what it's like. I've had this really affect me, and then I've had it. I worked myself into a place where for 13 years it didn't, and the difference is immense. It is mentally, it's immense. The way you see reality, the difference is immense, and stuff like that. The way people treat you is immensely different. But I spent a lot of years analysing it and stuff like that, and analysing how people work, analysing myself, everything like that. And I think a lot of trial and error. I don't actually say to myself, oh, that sounds right, it's got to be right. I test out my theories and everything. I've got a scientific brain. I've got a reasonably high IQ. Not like Albert Einstein's IQ, but actually, to be honest, I'm not that far off his IQ. Yeah, people have been through it. Because even though we have the different experiences, because a lot of our thing, you know, you can have the same sort of disability and all that kind of stuff, but the thing is you have a different environment, a different life, different things happen to you. It's not exactly the same, but the problem is everyone, especially here, is a lot of people think it's exactly the same, so they judge their opinion or what you're going through off what they've been through, which is totally unfair on anyone. He's going through this because there is a difference. There is an absolute difference. We're not all the same. If we were all the same, then sporting teams would never win and they'll never lose, because everyone on that field who's playing that sport will be as good as each other. We wouldn't have any GOATs or great players from the past or anything like that, because everyone would be the same. One would leave and retire, another one come and play exactly the same game just as brilliantly as the next person, you know. And that's a good indication that we're not the same, and we're all product of our environment, and it's a big part of who we are and what we become. And I've had the fortunate what's the word? The fortune, actually, if I just shorten it down. I've had the fortune to live with people from other countries and other cultures and actually see how they live their lives and how different they'll do something that I would do. And I love it. It's just amazing to me, you know, how they would, even way they talk and way they will describe things and everything. And I'm always amazed by that. I love being in that situation to see the difference to me, you know. And so I understand that it's all about, you know, what you know, and what you know is from what you're taught from young age, what you see in a young age, what you perceive as a young age, and you grow up and you think it's the same. And that's evident when I watch Americans watching rugby for the first time. I'm reacting to rugby, and they sit there and they look at rugby and they're going, oh, okay, so they just instantly makes comparisons to American football using the same rules as American football. They don't understand. They're just confused when they see that someone gets tackled in rugby, and they think, oh, why is the big pile up there? He's already tackled. Why is he tackled on the ground? All sorts of stuff, because they're looking at from what they know, and that's pretty much the same as everything in life. You know, you only know what you know. But unless you're prepared to accept the fact that there are different views and ways to do it, and try and, you know, see life through that set of eyes, then a lot of things aren't going to change with the problems that we've got. You know? And especially with people with disabilities and mental disabilities. Because you're always based on how someone who's trying to understand you, who doesn't live with it, how they live their life, and try and put it that way, you know? I mean, you look at monkeys, chimpanzees, there's what, 1% difference, not even that, or just over 1% genetic difference between human beings and monkeys, and just look at that 1% difference. It's highly visible, that 1%. Chimpanzees and human beings look nothing alike, but we're 99% genetically the same. So imagine what is 0.001% difference in the brain makeup of a person, how much difference that would be if just 1% is the difference between a monkey, a chimpanzee and a human being, and the way they look and act. Cats and dogs. Huh? They're an animal like sheep and cows. But yeah, I know what you mean. But there's cultures out there that do. It's not a big issue to them. I mean, for years I didn't understand why people ate goats. We had a pet goat. It just didn't seem right to me. A goat, you know, why did people eat goats? Oh, yuck, yuck, yuck. Now, after I've tried it, goats are amazing. Goats are really nice to eat. They really are. If you've never had goat before in your life, and especially if you like lamb, goats, have some goat meat. Have some goat meat, because I can tell you now, it tastes exactly like lamb. It tastes exactly like the freshest lamb, actually, you've ever eaten. Because that's the only thing, a real fresh lamb is the only taste that I've ever had that's similar to goat. And obviously it wasn't real fresh goat, obviously, yeah, you know. It's amazing how some of them like that, and like with fish. Now, I can't stand freshly caught fish. Fish that's been caught that day, cooked that day, because it tastes salty to me. I can taste the sea in it, but you put it on ice for 2 or 3 days, it tastes better to me, way better. Yes, goat curries, mate. Oh. And that's how I first tasted it, goat curry. Amazing. And the aftertaste, because I like the taste of lamb, the aftertaste, but the goat aftertaste lasts a lot longer and a lot nicer, I think. Me personally. Oh, we've been going on for an hour almost. How much further have we got to go? 2 hours and 55 minutes. Yeah, I might run an ad, mate, while you're disappearing, actually. I'll do that, hang on. Well, you go disappear and I'll go run an ad. How's that? I'll get to a straight bit. Well, I don't need to get to a straight bit. I just need to hit escape, don't I? So, yeah, I'm going to run an ad. For anyone new here, I run ads every hour, just so we all know exactly when we're getting an ad. Because there's nothing more than I don't like watching a stream and something interesting is happening and then they throw an ad in my face and I miss out on something. So I will do that. If you're subscribed, it will not... the ad won't work for you. Ad free if you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, knowing Twitch, it probably won't work for you anyway, but I'm going to give it a go. And if it does work, I'll see you when it's over and done with. Going to run the ad now. Helps if I alt tab to the right thing, eh? So what I'll do, I'll just quickly do something while the ads are running, if they are running. You see my other account that hasn't run as per usual. Oh, I tell a lie, it's just started. Oh, there we go. An ad for Audible. For those of you who can't be bothered reading, you could just listen. Or, if you're like me, just wait for the movie. If I wait for the movie, then I don't have to use my imagination. All my reading skills tire me out that way. I can just sit down and watch it. And it's not actually true. I haven't even tried audio books, to be honest. Not for any reason. I just always have and always will. How have I... No. I actually need to have a sleep. I can't believe that. How long have I been driving for? Well, hang on. It was 6 in the morning, wasn't it? I will keep left. Thanks for that. How much more time? 55 minutes. 70 now remains. Interesting. Well, there was a parking spot there. Well, I've definitely got to find one sooner rather than later, obviously. But I'm actually thrown back by that. Mind you, the hour went really quick, so I've been definitely driving for an hour. I suppose that makes sense. It's normally 10 hours in ETS you're allowed to drive for. And we've just hit that mark pretty much now, yeah, so that makes sense. Anyway. Yeah, I've just never tried audio books. Not a big book fan. I mean, I do read books. Or have read books, but I haven't read that many. To be honest, I just have a problem with reading. Not as in I don't understand the words or can read the words. That's not my problem. My problem is I'll start reading a book, I'll get into the book, and then about 4 or 5 pages at a certain point, I'll be reading. I've read like 20 pages or something, or something like that. It just depends. It's not like instant. I'll read 4 pages and then I'll realise that I have no idea what's going on at the moment because I actually haven't retained those 4 pages. Because my mind will just wander. Can I go through there? No, I can't. Can I go through that one? Yes. Can I? Please say I can. Don't make me reverse. And that's the reason why. You're going to make me reverse, you utter scumbag. So that's the reason why. But I have read books. I've read some good books, actually. I was a big Roald Dahl fan when I was younger. Fantastic Mr. Fox, I've read him millions of times. Danny the Champion of the World is my favourite of all his books. And yeah. But because of that reason, because I've tried to read quite a lot of books, I just get sick of the fact that I get lost because I realise that my brain's just wandered off somewhere while I'm trying to force myself to still read it. Am I going to get away with doing 7th gear here? I hope I can. And then going back and rereading those 4 pages again, and then later on the track it happens again, or sometimes it actually happens rereading those 4 pages, or end up getting through 1 page and then the same thing will happen. So you sort of get sick of that. Don't bother. But yeah, no, I have read some good books. Really good books. Well, I think are good books anyway. Actually, 2 of the greatest books I ever read were both actually sort of like Lord of the Ring type ones. One was very much like Lord of the Rings. Very, very involved. Very thick and plots and stuff. Jumping back and forth between characters. Lord of the Rings and the other one. No, I haven't crashed yet, mate. No, I've just been killing time till you got back. There we go. And then I didn't realise I was so close to needing to sleep. Yeah, so I read a couple of them like that. One was by Tad Williams. I can't remember the name. It was a 3-parter to like Lord of the Rings. Is it Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit? Hobbit's 1 book and Lord of the Rings is 3. But I did enjoy it. The first book was actually really hard to get through, I'll tell you what, but it was worth it for the second and third book. High beam, high beam, high beam, and we need to bring up these, change the view, bring up this, and go disengage the handbrake and we're off. And the other books I read were two series actually, of 5 books, so 10 books in total, but one was one series and another one was a series following the same character a few years later. And they were written by a guy called David Eddings. Now I think his wife had a big part in it because now most of his books have also got her name as the author as well as his. But fantastic books, a really good author. It's not a kind of author that people will purposely talk about all the time. But if you mention the guy's name, in fact, pretty much every time when someone's asked me what books I read or authors I like, just in passing conversation, I can't remember a time when I've mentioned David Eddings and that person says I've never heard of them. That person goes, yeah, I love those books. Oh, I really love. Have you read this one of his? Have you read that one of his? So he's well known, but not well talked about. But yeah, the books I read, they're fantastic and they're easy reading. They're not as full on as Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. They're fantastic characters in them. Really good characters, well worth it. Yeah, it's just me getting into them. Like I said, I think you're away when I said that. I have a problem with reading, and it's not me struggling with the words. It's my mind wanders, and I'll be reading a book, and then all of a sudden my mind disappears somewhere, but I'm still half reading it and half not. And then 4 pages on, I'm like basically lost at what's going on. So I have to go back and reread those 4 pages, and then eventually it happens again, or sometimes it happens again through those 4 pages. So I sort of give up on that. Ooh, come on, let me get up the hill. But I've read some other good ones. I read a really good one. I can't remember the name of it. It was years ago, where it was about this author who got invited by this other author who had died, his favourite author when he was a kid and growing up and died, and to come and do a sort of a biography on the guy. And boy, that had a huge twist to it. It was really good. I don't want to give it away just in case someone, even though I haven't mentioned it, someone might pick it up one day and go, oh, this sounds like what JJ said. Oh, I already know what happens. You know, it's like TV shows when something drastic happens and ends on a cliffhanger. You're like, oh, what's going to happen? And then they go next week and you can see this person, whatever's happened to this person's fine, so you already know the outcome. It sort of takes it away from the experience, I think. Another one I liked as a kid was Choose Your Own Adventure books. Twister Plot. Choose Your Own Adventure and Twister Plot. They were both the same. I don't know if they're around still, and if you're in chat and wondering what the heck am I talking about, what books are those? They're basically books where oh, hang on, I can't drive straight through there. Yep. Basically the books that you get to the end of the page and you've got a choice to make of what you want to do. So you got the story going along, so you're the character in the story, and the character comes up and he's got to make a decision of doing something, and at the end of it you got your the choices he's got, so 2 or 3 choices, and then it will tell you to go to a certain page if you choose that choice, which was really good. So you had different endings to the book as well. Don't know why I skipped 10th gear there. I just got to remember it's quite heavy what we've got on the back here. So they were really good books.